Silent Hill 4: The Room is a mysterious and the final entry of the Team Silent Silent Hill games. Its mystery transcends the plot and into some very divisive game mechanics, which people either praised it for or found that it ruined an otherwise okay to good game. Undertaking this video was a little bit bittersweet for me because on the one hand, it was nice to get a chance to play a classic from my childhood, but on the other hand, it really shone a light on how poorly this game has aged in places. There's a number of things that make this game stand out, and some of them are thought-provoking and the first of their kind, but not all of them are as refined and as good as they could have been. All of that being said though, let's explore this game together now, blow by blow, and rediscover it in the year of our Lord 2026. While Silent Hill 3 was a direct sequel to Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 4: The Room acts as a sort of soft sequel to Silent Hill 2, mostly just in a few names and Easter egg callbacks though. Now there's whole videos on YouTube going over exactly what was going on at Konami around this time, and we all know the story about how they sent the series off to the West after this one had poor sales figures. But for this video series, we will be strictly about the game as to keep it nice and focused. Lastly, for reference, I wanted to get the most authentic version of this game I could, so instead of emulating the game and getting all kinds of upscalers and things like that, I simply bought the game on GOG, as it's the most accurate to the console PC port you can get, with only widescreen aspect ratio being the most noticeable change. Right then, let us begin. Now before we even enter this game, this title screen music is absolutely incredible. I love the Spanish-style guitar playing in this sort of strange rhythm with that haunting humming note that drones through the whole piece. It's so different to the previous 3 Silent Hill games too, which makes it especially stand out. And most of all, it sets a very eerie tone before we even start our playthrough. Yamaoka-san really is a visionary genius, isn't he? Alright, enough glazing. Let's get acquainted with the story. It was 2 years ago that Henry Townsend moved into room 302 of South Ashfield Heights, an apartment building in the medium-sized city of Ashfield. Henry was happy and enjoying his new life. But 5 days ago, something strange happened. He began to have a recurring dream each night, and one other thing. He couldn't leave room 302. And just like that, we're given control. Notice how this game features a first-person perspective here, a first for the series up until this point. You're able to look around freely, although, admittedly, the camera is a little hard to control, and select things to investigate in this up-close and personal perspective. This version of our apartment is already completely taken over by the Silent Hill hallmark rust and grime. We hear a stock sound effect of a male screaming in the other room, so we're already off to a pretty goofy start. And fun fact, that exact sound effect was used again in the E3 trailer of Silent Hill Downpour. Which is pretty funny, and I'll be honest, pretty lazy. I think in the actual game though, they removed it because people could tell it was just an overused stock sound and they made fun of it online. Kind of like how the Sonic, thing went down. It's weird that I even remember this. Anyway, back to our scary bedroom. We can investigate the paintings and pretty much any object in the few rooms of this apartment, and our protagonist has a few comments to share. We seem to have woken up to this mess as the person speaking to us is remarking about how they can barely recognize it. Leaving the bedroom, we arrive in a seriously cramped corridor with a door right in front of us, but hearing static to our right, we're drawn like a moth to the flame to investigate. And maybe we can find who was responsible for that cringe stock scream from earlier. But this is our apartment. Not so spacious, is it? Looks more like a hotel room too. A quick check of the front door, we state that it's in a terrible shape, and the air is heavy and we've got a bit of a headache going on. In the kitchen, there's a horrible smell, and it looks like the dishcloths are all covered with blood and goo. Attempting to stick the stove on, we say, due to the aforementioned headache, we ain't hungry. I mean, even if we were clucking, would you really want to eat anything from this room? Moving on to the dresser on the far wall, there's a couple of photo frames here, but they're too blurry and pixelated for our character to identify. Noticing a strange stain on the wall, under closer inspection, it looks like the impression of a face pushing through to us. Creepy. We move to the initial disturbance of the room though, the static on the TV. But our character remarks that this big TV never even used to be here, and that it was a record player as far as he was concerned. Oh god, we've already got CRT TVs being installed behind our back, what's next? Well, our controlled character at this point doesn't even know what a digital radio CD player is, so something wacky's definitely going on. Are we like time traveling or something? Moving back into the middle of the room, we trigger a cutscene.
Oh man. What a dream.
Well, that was all a bit much, wasn't it? Well, here is our protagonist for the game. This is Henry Townsend. He gets a lot of flack through the Silent Hill community for being the most dull main character in the Team Silent games. He doesn't have a very strong personality, I'll give him that, and he does a lot of the older trope that we see in horror games, such as Sebastian from The Evil Within, perhaps. He's got a very healthy mop on his head, looking like he should be in some sort of boy band or a shampoo advert. A light blue button-up shirt with straight-cut jeans, a real normie. Investigating the phone next to our side of the bed reveals that the line is dead. There's no dial tone and nothing happens when Henry plugs some digits in. Our first taste of isolation. But wait, she rings.
Hello?
Help me.
What? The cord's cut.
Now, we don't know who that was just yet, and we've got to be in some weird kind of dimension because the phone's ringing and the damn cord is cut. But let's read on. And at this stage, please forgive any jerky camera movements. I was attempting to play this on mouse and keyboard, as I thought the first-person sections would be nicer that way, but no, they're not. This game was not intended to be played like that, and it's really tough to control pretty much throughout. I do switch to controller eventually, but we'll get to that in a bit later. Investigating the desk in our room unlocks the scrapbook. Here we can store any memos we come across, and we can access them anytime to revise them. Looking out the window, we can see seemingly normal life outside. A woman in a jeans skirt and red top is hesitant to descend down the steps in front of her to the subway. Eventually, after some amateur dramatics, she cartoons her way down. We can then look freely around our surroundings here. There are some points of interest that will be used throughout the game, such as the South Ashfield Hotel across the street, the other apartment rooms which are directly opposite us. This game plays with the idea of voyeurism, among other things, and although these character models are to our standards nowadays very low poly and textureless, at the time this was quite an impressive recreation of a street view. The idea that you could just watch normal life go on as you're trapped in this room, I think is a really powerful way to set the atmosphere and tone of the game. We notice a billboard for Bar Southfield, which has a phone number to call for reservations and the like. Let's punch that into our little ghost phone and see what happens. Oh, it's ringing. Oh, well, yeah, okay, that wasn't very revealing, was it? But these are the sort of things that we can be doing in this apartment, finding clues in the environment and trying to action them to see what happens. As we step back into the main room, despite the rust and the scary, oily ghost man being absent, it feels rather oppressive, doesn't it? The sort of piss yellow and brown shades everywhere just make it look filthy. Our front door is looking pretty sus, though. Now this is an iconic piece of imagery for the game. The only way out of here to a presumably normal world is chained up from the inside. 5 days ago, that's when I first had the nightmare. I haven't been able to get out of my room since then. The phone doesn't work, the TV doesn't work, and I can't even get anybody to hear me when I yell. The whole world has suddenly turned insane. My door's chained up, the windows are sealed shut, and on top of that, someone's chained the door from the inside. How am I going to get out of here?
What the hell? What's going on here?
Looking through the peephole of the front door, we see a young woman drop some of her groceries out of her bag. And notice those bloody handprints on the wall behind her? Yeah, those will be important later, so keep an eye on them.
Oh man. Hope my luck changes before the party.
Stepping back from the door, we find a note poking through the crack at the bottom. It reads, "Mum, why don't you wake up?" Creepy, but we'll stick this in our scrapbook for now. The fridge is openable now, and it has some chocolate milk, yummy, and a wine bottle inside. Let's take those with us for a second. The photos on the dresser can be examined now, and they're slightly less pixelated, which is nice. Henry notes that this is a photo of himself when he graduated from high school, and the dresser that they sit atop he's had since before he moved here. So this is Henry's personal choice of dresser. Yikes. I mean, it was 2004 though, so let's cut him a bit of slack. The large chest next to the TV tells us that it can store a ton of stuff, and this is going to be our main storage for the game. In fact, pretty much our only storage for the whole game. Inventory management in Silent Hill 4 is brutal, and this entire apartment acts as a sort of central hub, and we'll be coming to and from here very frequently, so let's just get used to how it all works. Weapons and items have their own category in here. Switching between them is unintuitive. You have to press up to go to the weapons and then up again to go to the items. Pressing down will cause your cursor to return to the inventory you're carrying. This will catch me out many times throughout this journey, and it will never not be annoying. Leaving the chest, we hear an earthy noise coming from the room opposite the sleeping quarters. "What was that?" Henry exclaims. I don't know, Henners. Why don't we go have a little peek? Wait, actually, before we do that, let's leave the chocolate milk in here for a bit, as we really don't need that right away. And wait, what's this? Another strange note?
Through the ritual of holy assumption, he built the world. It exists in a space separate from the world of our Lord. More accurately, it is within, yet without the Lord's world. Unlike the world of our Lord, it is a world of extreme flux, unexpected doors or walls, moving floors, odd creatures, a world only he can control. Anyone swallowed up by that world will live there for eternity, undying. They will haunt that realm as a spirit. How our Lord can forgive such an abomination. It is important to travel lightly in that world. He who carries too heavy a burden will regret it.
The rest is too damaged to read. Well, this basically outlines what we will be doing in the game. Even that reference to treading lightly or we will regret it. And trust me, this is worth listening to because otherwise we'll find ourselves up Items Creek without an inventory slot and it can be really freaking frustrating. The notepad or diary on the coffee table by the sofa is our save point. It's the only save point in the game, I might add. So although we will need to come back here a lot to progress certain story beats, we will also need to head back here anytime we wish to save our progress. Do you have anxiety yet? Before we go and investigate that noise, we poke our heads into the laundry room. And there isn't much going on in here besides Henry stating that we don't need the washer right now, implying that we might do later. So let's stick that in our mental notes for now, shall we? And finally go and investigate that noise because I know you're gagging for it.
What the hell? Somebody in there? I wonder if I can get out this way.
Well. It appears we have a little Shawshank situation going on in the bathroom here. A giant hole leading to absolute blackness has appeared. This is another very memorable bit of imagery for the game, the giant holes. It's sort of a calling back to that Silent Hill 2's there was a hole here, it's gone now. It's like these things crop up from time to time, but at any point can cease to exist. There's a bit of pipe wedged in the opening of this one, and that'll make a good bludgeoning tool, so let's put that in our loose fit jeans. Before we crawl through the hellhole, we can enjoy some creepy Silent Hill ASMR. For those who are wearing headphones, enjoy. Anyway, let's climb through this bish. Crawling through here really reminds me of the movie The Ring, or the original Japanese version Ringu. Whenever that well was shown in the tape, looking out of it with the flickery visual effect, I don't know. And I don't know if they were inspired by that or not, but it was from a pretty similar era, the late 90s, early noughties, so probably. When we come out of the other side of the hole, curiously, we're already heading down a moving escalator. This, of course, doesn't make any logical sense, as how does one crawl through a hole, and then when they wake up and open their eyes next, they're sat on a step of a moving escalator? It's pitch black above us, and the escalator is unusually long. The industrial motif of exposed piping and valves around us gives us a sort of boiler room, back of house, staff only kind of vibe. We jog on ahead with an animation that looks akin to a dude whose trousers are full of doo-doo chocolate cakes before we notice a figure of someone standing at the end of the hallway.
Who are you? What's your name?
Henry. And you?
This is my dream, and you don't even know my name. It's Cynthia.
Your dream.
That's right. This is just a dream. And a really terrible one, too. I hope I wake up soon.
So you think this is a dream, huh?
Well, if it's not a dream, what is it? Anyway, I want to get out of here, but I can't find the exit. Say, will you help me find it? I'm kind of scared all alone. I'll do a special favor for you later. It's just a dream, so I might as well have some fun.
This woman is Cynthia Velasquez, an extremely flirty Hispanic woman, and the very same woman we saw out the window of our apartment just a few moments ago. She's convinced she's stuck in a dream, but tempts our boy Henry with a special favor if he can help get her out. I suppose no matter how far into the depths of hell we go, we will always find time to goon. And just like that, we haven't even seen the first mob of the game yet, and we're already on an escort mission with a possible literal escort. How the mighty have fallen, eh? Now this is a huge point of contention with this game, and it may as well be called Silent Hill 4 The Escort, as most of the game you'll be hindered by trying to keep another terribly dumb NPC from dying. Or the most egregious part, them slowing you down to a snail's pace, because if you run at normal speed, they fall behind and stop following you. So you have to do this sort of gammy stop-start running technique just to progress. It's utterly horrible design.
Wait a minute. I think I'm gonna puke.
Well, it looks like Cynthia's dream here is getting a bit too real for her, as she started feeling sick and runs off to the bathroom to blow chunks. There's a fade to black insinuating that a fair bit of time has passed, with Henry politely waiting for her outside when we see the door of the men's toilets gingerly crept open. Suddenly, out flies the first mob of the game. The sniffer dog. Yes, that's literally their name. Their most striking feature is a long, fleshy tongue that permanently hangs out of their jaws, and they use this to stab into their prey and suck the fluids out from the inside. Despite being canine in appearance, they make the sounds of large wild cats when they attack or when they get hit, and they come in two variants. The males have visible eyes and ears and a sort of khaki-toned fur and skin, but the more deadly females are more of a purple hue with missing eyes and ears, but have devastatingly long claws which they use to disembowel their prey with. Both variants can be extremely tricky to fight though, because they're so mobile and they can lunge from great distances. And they drastically outpace poor Henry's running ability, so trying to flee in a straight line is just a no-go. You gotta treat them like crocodiles, run in zigzags. Interestingly, if you walk, they don't aggro, but when you run, it pulls them from a pretty far distance to start hunting you. Sadly, I've got the game set to always running because I don't want to be holding that button down the whole game, so I'll be getting the shitty end of the stick from these bastards this whole series, so enjoy that. I'll explain their symbolism a little bit later, as it's kind of a spoiler to do it right now. Not feeling in the mood to engage these guys yet, we sprint straight to the girls' room to look for Cynthia and, to be honest, just escape those damn sniffers. When we swing the corner, we hear the sound of something drop to the ground, and before us is a giant hole in the wall with cult symbols bordering it. There was a hole here, and there's definitely still a hole here. These are our only way to return back to room 302. These act as portals which are found throughout the game. We will need to use these in order to progress the story at certain stages of the game, or simply if we need to revive our HP and save our progress. Because that's right folks, no autosaves in this game, so we're going to want to make sure we stay on top of that lest we lose our progress.
What? Another dream. But it seems so real. Or could it be? Was I really inside that woman's dream? Oh, that's just stupid. What am I thinking?
We wake up and Henry seems to be briefly concerned that he's also dreaming, or that we're in Cynthia's dream, sort of like a dream within a dream Silent Hill Inception moment. I do want to say that playing with the ideas about dreaming is always a risky game to play when you're writing a story, because it's the easiest way to get out of having to explain anything when it can all just be a dream. Is it real or is it not? Oh, spooky. But I think Silent Hill as a brand definitely captures the bizarreness of a dreamlike atmosphere. It's infectious and intriguing, but at this point we just want some sort of idea about why we're trapped like this, and let's not forget we were promised a special favour. Storming out of the bedroom and back into the living area, the wooden cupboard ahead looks kind of out of place. Investigating it, Henry remarks, "Someone's moved it." Who the hell could that have been? I thought we were Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone style. But that's not all. We find that not only is there a silly little handgun on the floor underneath it, but there's something written on the wall, apparently carved in with an ice pick or something.
The faint hope I had is slowly turning to despair. I've somehow managed to tunnel this far, but no matter what I do, I can't get any further. The hallway, the window, the walls. It feels like this room is stuck in another dimension. Eileen never noticed.
We're checking the damaged wall. We notice what the messenger meant by their tunneling attempt. Henry gets on his dirty little knees and takes a peep.
Where did I put that damn broom? Oh, there it is.
And would you just look at that, eh? We're now spying on our next door neighbour, who just happens to be a pretty young lady. What are the chances? And it's the same young lady who we saw dropping her vegetables in the hallway outside our front door from earlier. So this must be Eileen. She walks towards us to grab the broom, I hope just for cleaning purposes, and now she's gone, we can see our first Easter egg of the game sitting on her bed. It's Robbie the Rabbit from Silent Hill 3. We will get a better look at him later though, so don't worry. So right now we've got a few elements at play here. A creepy, inescapable apartment locked from the inside, a hole in our bathroom which takes us places we have no choice over, and somehow things in our room change while we're away, and now we have a newly acquired hobby of being a peeping Tom. All very strange, all very intriguing, but if we're going to make any sense of this, we need to look for more clues. We unpeel our eye from the micro glory hole and the phone in the bedroom starts to ring.
Where did you go? Hurry! Save me! If you need a token, there's one here.
It's Cynthia. She needs our help. And she mentioned something about a token. All right, cool. Let's go chuck our ass back through that hole in the bathroom again and go help her. Before we do, let's have a little look through the peephole of the front door and we can see Eileen sweeping up the hallway. She's being a good resident and cleaning the communal space. Let's hope nothing bad happens to her, eh? Oh, and remember to save. As soon as we emerge from the demon hole, there's a Cynthia-themed mannequin with bloody hands who looks like she's calling out for help with a raised arm and an open hand. She's holding something. It's the Lynch Street Line coin, apparently. A train token. This must have been what she was talking about on the phone earlier. Ah, so this is a train station. Gotcha. Also known as Subway World. Leaving the toilets, the sniffers were patiently waiting for our return and they try their best to snub us out. Equipping the pipe, I tried to remember how the combat in this game feels to varying success. See, the spacing in this game is really important. You need to know exactly how much range the weapon has, and each time you attempt to attack, it's a fully committal affair, which is easily punished if you mess it up. You can ready your weapon with the right shoulder button and swing with the action button. And if you hold the action button down, you can charge up a heavy strike. These are obviously much more powerful swings, but leave you wide open if they don't connect, or if you're facing multiple threats at once. You can use light attacks while holding the action button between them to charge up a heavy attack. This way, you're taking advantage of the stun lock that you can get on some enemies, and set yourself up for a big swing finish. You can also dodge in any direction while you're readying a weapon, but it's got a slight cooldown, and I didn't find it to be as helpful as you assume it might be. At this stage though, I'm not doing well adjusting to the game's mechanics just yet, but we'll get there, don't worry, this is just the beginning. And in true Silent Hill fashion, once an enemy is downed, the stomp of death needs to be applied to assure you that this thing won't spring back to life and attempt to kill you again. Instead of using our coin just yet, we want to head straight on to an area with 2 dead ends. There's some ammo to pick up here, we don't really want to miss out on that right now, and oh, don't mind the big worm, totally normal, totally harmless. The sniffers on the other hand, not so much. We make our way back to the Lynch Street line entrance and use our token to gain access. We tried to descend the stairway and are treated to a cutscene introducing us to Silent Hill 4's most unique enemy type, the ghosts. These horrible little cretins pull themselves through walls with slimy, inky goop portals and hover towards you to do a variety of different attacks depending on who the ghost is, or should I say was. There is no hiding from them, as they always know your location and will hunt you relentlessly. You cannot even kill them. You can only knock them down for a bit if you hit or shoot them enough. There's only one proper way to take them out of commission, and that gets introduced later. Oh, and what's worse? Before they've even thrown an attack at you, they have a damaging aura around them that, whilst in range, does a constant damage over time to Henry's poor body, mind and soul. Basically, they are haunting, they are terrifyingly dangerous, and something we are not equipped to deal with right now. It's Cynthia, she needs our help. Let's just be glad that she didn't see how bad we are with this pipe. Wait a minute, phrasing. We enter the train car at the far end, near where the train driver would be, and push a glowing red button. And this appears to have opened the doors. Whoa, Jesus! Cynthia jump scare right there. Okay, she's back to walking seductively, she must be feeling better. Probably best not to hang around though, as there's filth everywhere and we suck at melee combat and we don't want to embarrass ourselves in front of our new friend. At best, we can hope to be her knight in bronze armor. This part is really annoying. It's essentially a maze. We need to weave in and out of train cars to eventually find our way through. It's not particularly fun, but the train station location was also used in Silent Hill 3, and I thought it was probably the weakest moment in that game too. Something about it's just bland for me. I don't know. I'm sure some of you out there, it might be your favorite part of the game, somehow. We finally make our way out, narrowly avoiding an untimely death to ghost damage, and find an open door. It has a portal back to room 302 and a service hatch at the back with a ladder heading down. Henry quietly whimpers out Cynthia's name, noticing that she's no longer even following us. That's weird though, because she was right there a second ago. And as we are gravely wounded, it's time to head back to room 302 to heal up and save our progress. When we arrive back, it's time for some housekeeping. We take the ladder down, run straight across the hall and back up the opposite ladder. Here we can unlock a door that will be crucial later on. Right then, back down the ladder and it's time for more sprinting. The thing about these semi-fixed camera angles is, and has been the problem in other games that use this technique, when the camera angle changes, the direction you were holding to run forward doesn't always correlate with the direction you want to be going within the next dramatic camera placement. It's especially annoying in this game as there isn't an option for proper tank controls. So you'll see me run in all sorts of weird directions sometimes, and that's purely because of the controls. And I think it's time to give the handgun a little spin, as the ring rust has made me a little scared to engage in the close quarters just yet. We hear Cynthia tell us that she's found an exit, which seems a little bit douchey of her because, like, we just saved her and then she bailed on us and then somehow made it out before us. Gosh, she's made us look a right prick, isn't she? Also, how is she even talking to us right now? She's on the intercom or something. And then she sounds like she's been apprehended by someone. It's him, she says? We grab the conveniently placed bottle of Yakuluto at the disgustingly rusted panels at the foot of an escalator and prepare to ascend. This might be the most rage-inducing and terribly designed moments of the game. This nightmarishly long escalator ride is where we meet the most frustrating enemy of the game, the wall men. Quite literally named, they're exactly what it says on the tin. These textureless shit stains lay dormant until Henry comes within striking distance. This activates them like a fucking sleeper cell hearing the magic word. And then they're incredibly difficult to pass without getting knocked off your feet over and over and over again. You can almost get caught in a loop of standing back up only to take another smack to the chops and be knocked straight back down again. They can easily wear you down if you're not careful. A common strategy with this is to try and strike them once and then using the stun window to pass them. But when they're placed one after another, you're likely about to eat shit. The fact that you can't select which enemy you want to lock onto, the game sort of decides that for you. I suppose it locks onto the closest threat. But that means that you turn your back to the one you're actually trying to focus on and then you get slapped about like a housewife in the 50s. It's horrible. There are people that can do this section without taking a lick. I am not one of those people. I hate to tell you. We get through this with determination and willpower alone, my friends. Eventually, we make it to the top, and let's hope we never have to do that again. Ha ha ha. Gaining control again, we find some handgun ammo on the ground in the first door on our left. But on the way back out, a ghost attempts to give us some sloppy toppy. Henry is saving himself for Cynthia and her special favor though, so we politely decline and move on. At the top of the next set of stairs, we reach the other side of the turnstiles opposite the Lynch Street entrance that we came in through. There's blood everywhere on the ground amongst miscellaneous womanly paraphernalia, hairbrushes, makeup sets and the like. Oh no, this reeks of Cynthia's demise. There's a mysterious plate on the door of the ticket sales box which we remove before entering. It's called the Temptation Placard. Pretty aptly named if who's inside is who we think it is. Oh, it is. Cynthia is laying in a pool of her own blood on the ground, and Henry tries to console her and convince her that this is all just a dream just like she thought. He obviously doesn't believe that, and he just doesn't want to break the news that she's really dying, and I think this scene is actually done relatively well. I suppose, besides Cynthia mentioning that she's absolutely gutted she didn't give Henry his special favour. Pretty weird thing to think about on your dying breaths, I admit, but maybe she's just a very sensually charged woman, and who are we to take that away from her, huh? Henry rarely shows any personality during this game, but his voice lines in this scene are more believable than most. His soft tone makes him sound like he's just completely out of depth, and he's not sure what to say other than just agree with Cynthia to comfort her. Bless him. And bless her! We notice there are some numbers carved into Cynthia's left tit as well. 16121. Is this a code for something? Let's keep a note of that for now, but it's certainly a rock-hard clue. Henry engages in some hand-over-hand cupping while he closes Cynthia's eyes for good.
Cynthia? Man, what's that noise out there?
And with that, we wake up in the apartment again. This time though, we hear sirens wailing outside the bedroom window. There's emergency services vehicles by the steps we saw Cynthia walk down before we got to the subway world. That definitely confirms it then. Dying here means dying for good. Unless this is a completely unrelated incident, of course. Nah, it's not. No, she's dead. She's dead. When we leave the bedroom, our digital radio seems to have tuned into the police's conversation about Cynthia.
Quit yapping and move her already. Damn, she's got numbers carved into her chest. I wonder if...
And they also sound like they have a hunch about who did it, but it cuts off. We then get treated to a completely unrelated story about a walrus, which is nice, I suppose, lighten the mood and all that. There's some symbolism, but I can't explain it just yet. Let's drop some things off in the chest here as we're starting to get weighed down a little bit with ammo and items. During these moments when we're sent back to the apartment, we're always on the lookout for things that may have changed. The most obvious of which are the red letters that somebody is sliding under our front door. And these build over time and eventually give us a lot of insight and context about what the hell is going on. This one reads, "Although the cult itself is gone, I'm sure the spirit of it is still alive. There are too many strange things happening in that town. I'm investigating 2 people. Or should I say, just 1. I've just about discovered what's going on. April 8th. Interesting. This is, of course, referencing the Cult of the Order in the town of Silent Hill. But who wrote this? And is it a journalist investigating or some kind of law enforcement? We check the peephole again to find a new, fresh, bloody handprint has been added to the collection in the hallway. This must be on account of Cynthia. So that means there were, 15 murders before her? We notice a white-haired gentleman mopping the floor out there too. Another resident of the apartment, perhaps. They all chip in with the cleaning work, huh? Yeah, you know this was a Japanese game. Before we continue, let's take a sneaky look through Peeping Tom's Peepway to Heaven and check on Eileen. She was just sat pondering her life choices before something clearly grabs her attention from the window. She leaves to stage right, and we can only speculate what it was that spooked her. Maybe she heard the sirens too, or maybe it's something more. I think that definitely calls for a save. We don't want to be losing all that progress now, do we? We head back to the bathroom and prepare ourselves to take a plunge back through our demon hole. Who knows where it's going to spit us out this time? Henry notes that the hole has gotten larger, but doesn't let that stop him climbing through it anyway. We fade to black, and when we reappear, we seem to be in some kind of forest sat on our arse like we've fallen asleep here and just been woken up. What a weird and wonderful new location we find ourselves in. No longer confined and constricted by the claustrophobic halls of a subway riddled with ghosts and sniffer dogs, this should be a lovely change of pace for us. And we will find that out in the next episode of Silent Hill 4 LOREMASTER. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. This game gets really weird and actually kind of funny at times, and I can't wait to get to those moments and present them how I want to. It's going to be jokes. So if you're enjoying it and you want the series to continue, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you like, what you didn't like. Hit the like button if you liked it. Hype the video if you're feeling extra helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.